Jungkook finally made a special song for Jimin. Jimin's emotional reaction shocked fans. Face screaming in fear, broken heart, the world of K-pop has once again been rocked by a revelation it never imagined possible. Not a big comeback, not a grand concert, and not an international award. This time, what made the army around the world speechless was a song. A song born from the quietest spaces, from the most honest feelings, and from relationships that over the years can only be guessed through looks, small gestures, and moments that often escape the cameras. The song was composed by Jungkook. And the song, for the first time outright, is dedicated to just one person, Park Jimin. This news began to stick out slowly, almost like a whisper. There was no dramatic official announcement from the agency. There is no teaser. There is no bombastic release schedule. There is only one small piece of information that then transforms into a big wave. A brief statement of Jungkook in a closed-door recording session leaked to the public, a lyric that sounded too personal to be called a coincidence, and Jimin's reaction captured on camera, a reaction that left millions of fans speechless. Some even crying involuntarily. It all started with an internal listening session that was initially thought to be an evaluation of Jungkook's solo songs. Several industry sources said Jungkook was putting together his personal pieces, songs he wrote himself during periods of silence, including when schedules, mental stress, and physical distance between BTS members were becoming more apparent. Among the songs, there is one track that from the very beginning was given a special mark. Untitled. No mention of genre. Just one little note in his production folder to him. At first, many thought he referred to the army. Or maybe a metaphor. But all those assumptions collapsed when the song was finally played to Jimin live. According to a staff member present in the room, the atmosphere changed drastically since the first intro sounded. Jungkook didn't say anything. He just sat quietly, looking down, while the sound of a soft piano filled the room. The lyrics are not exaggerated, they even sound simple. But precisely therein lies its strength. The song does not talk about grandiose love or great promises. The song talks about small habits, about waiting, about silence, about someone who is always there, even when the world seems too much to deal with. When the first verse was finished, Jimin still smiled faintly. But entering the ref, the expression changed. His eyes began to glaze over. His originally folded hands on his lap slowly clenched into fists, as if holding something too full on his chest. And when the song ended, the room was not immediately filled with applause. Instead, there was a long silence. A heavy silence. A silence that can only arise when one's feelings are truly touched. Jimin did not speak immediately. He looked down, took a deep breath, then turned to Jungkook. Their gazes met. Not for long. But it was enough to make anyone who witnessed the moment feel like they were looking at something very private, something that the public shouldn't see. A few seconds later, Jimin stood up and hugged Jungkook without saying a word. It was that moment that later leaked. Not in the form of a whole video, but pieces of reaction, pieces of stories from the people present. Yet those pieces were enough to spark a storm of speculation. ARMY began to connect the dots long ago. Jungkook's previous songs had lyrics that felt like a conversation between two people. Kara Jungkook has always referred to Jimin as home in various interviews. And the way Jimin, who is known to be very expressive, is often silent when he mentions Jungkook's name. It didn't take long before the rumors were confirmed indirectly. In a short broadcast originally meant to greet fans, Jungkook was asked about a new song he was working on. He was silent for a while before finally saying, in a much quieter voice than usual, "There's one song I didn't make for release. I wrote this song to let people know that they are never alone." That sentence alone was enough to make the Korean media react immediately. But Jungkook continued, as if realizing that he no longer wanted to hide behind metaphors. If one day the song is heard by the public, I hope people don't ask who it is for. Because the person already knows. ARMY reaction exploded. Social media is filled with screenshots, quick translations, and theories that are gaining strength. But the biggest shock was not Jungkook's confession. Except for what Jim did. On a separate occasion, Jimin finally spoke up. Not at the press conference. Not in a formal interview. He only opened the live broadcast late at night, alone, with dim lights and a face that looked tired. He smiled at first, as usual. Say hello to fans. But when someone wrote a comment about Jungkook's song, Jimin fell silent. I didn't expect him to do that, Jimin said finally. His voice trembled. I think that kind of feeling should just be kept. He paused for a moment, closed his eyes, then took a deep breath. The song is too honest. I don't even know what kind of feeling to listen to it. At that moment, Jimin looked down. His shoulders trembled. And for the first time in a public broadcast, he cried without trying to hide it. Crying that is not dramatic, not excessive, but feels very real. The cry of someone who has been strong, but is finally faced with feelings that he can no longer ignore. Armies around the world fell silent. Many admitted that they could not continue watching the broadcast. Many also said that they had never seen Jimin so naked emotionally. Crying is not about sadness. It's not about feeling overwhelmed. It's about feeling valued in such a personal way. From that moment on, one thing became clear. The song is not just a piece of music. The song is a letter. Jungkook wrote the letter not with ink, but with the tone, lyrics, and honesty that he had kept tight. And Jimin, who has always been known as someone who is sensitive to the feelings of others, ends up being the one who accepts those feelings completely. Industry analysts have called this moment one of the most emotional points in BTS's journey. Not because of scandal, not because of conflict, except for honesty. The honesty of two human beings who grew up together under the spotlight of the world, but still try to keep each other behind the scenes. Until now, the song has not been officially released. No title, no date, but it is precisely this uncertainty that makes it even stronger. Because for Jungkook, the song has already achieved its goal. And for Jimin, the song has changed something inside him. As for the ARMY, one thing is undeniable. They just witnessed a rare moment. The moment when music is no longer entertainment, but recognition. And when one song is enough to make the world pause, fall silent, and feel the same emotions. And perhaps, for the first time, fans truly understand that behind BTS's majestic stage, there are little stories that are much more powerful than anything that can be written in an official script. The story of Jungkook and Jimin. About a song born of silence. And about emotional reactions that shake things up. The song feels so close. The sentence was not given any further context. But Jungkook just nodded, without a smile, without any extra words. It was as if they were both already on the same page, a page that didn't need to be explained to anyone. The ARMY began to reread the past. Old clips are coming back. Kara Jungkook always makes sure Jimin eats first. Jimin's way of waiting for Jungkook to come home from training even though it was late at night. The way they keep each other silent when the cameras move away. Now it feels like it's no longer just a habit, but a fragment of a bigger story. A story that finally found its voice through a song the public didn't ask to hear. Now, the biggest question is no longer when the song will be released, but whether it really needs to be released. Many hoped the song would remain a secret, a symbol of something pure and untouched by the industry. But whatever Jungkook's decision, one thing is certain: the moment cannot be erased. Jimin's reaction has already said more than 1,000 interviews, and amid the hustle and bustle of a strategic entertainment world, Jungkook and Jimin inadvertently remind everyone of the simplest reason why music was created in the first place: to say things that are too difficult to pronounce in ordinary words.